So I'm going to go through the second one. The second one is going to allow you to find the equation of a line if you know 2 points. Right? So I'm going to go through these exact same steps. I'm going to write it all out first, and then I'm going to enter it. So you'll see it a couple times. Okay? But my second one, I'm going to call it right, so this one is going to be finding the equation of a line given 2 points. So when I work to solve this, I'm going to tell the calculator I'm creating a function. So that's define. And I'll walk you through these steps. I'm going to give it a name. So the name that I'm going to give this is 2 points. Okay, once again, you want the name to be descriptive enough that you understand what it means. Okay, it shouldn't be too long. You want to be able to enter it easily as well. Okay, but if I'm going to write my equation for a line that involves 2 points, okay, the coordinates or the inputs have to be, again, 2 ordered pair. So I'm going to have the exact same inputs, h1, k1, h2, k2. Again, you're not entering it in the order that the calculations are going to take place. And you're entering it just as the order that you're going to input. Now, the nice thing with the user-defined function is you can embed anything else that we can use the calculator for. Okay, so the way that we're going to base this, so we based the slope calculation just on that formula. But if you took this form, this is called what's called point slope form. Can't remember if we talked about it or not, but point slope form looks like this. Y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. Okay. Now, because we're writing this all in terms of an ordered pair, the slope can't be a separate input. So what we need to do is we need to write it as the difference of y's, y1 minus y2 over the corresponding difference of x's. Oops. And now, notice that this x right here has no subscript, or in this case, no number following it. Okay, so that's going to stay, as is the y in front. Okay, so those are going to remain, and those will be part of the equation, the solution. Right, and so here's what we're going to do, is we're going to take this equation right here. We're going to replace the x's with h's and the y's with k's. And what we want to do to get it into an equation of a line is we're going to take this whole equation and we're going to solve it. And so we need to tell the calculator what we want it to solve for. So when we write our equation of a line, what is it that we're isolating on the left side of the equation? What variable? Yeah, y, right? We want to solve this for y. Okay, so this right here is going to be the equation that we write. So obviously it's a little more complex equation. Okay, so I'm going to write that equation down below because it's going to be a little more work. Okay, so the equation that we're going to use here is solve. Y minus, we're going to replace our y1 with k's. So k1 equals the difference of the k's, k1 minus k2. We do have to put that in parentheses. Divided by the difference of the x's. Oops, our x's are h's. So h1 minus h2 times x minus h1. Bless you. Okay, and then we want to solve for y. And so this is the entire thing that we're going to write in our calculators so that we won't ever have to do all of those steps. We can simply enter it into our ti89s. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to enter those in here. You can follow along again if you still haven't quite got it. Okay, so the user define is located in this F4 tab. Choose define. I'm going to name it 2 points, so I'm going to alpha lock and then type the word. T is up here along with the x, y, and z because it's a common variable in time distance equals rate times time calculations. So T WOPTS is how I'm going to abbreviate You can name it whatever you want. Deselect the alpha key. Tell it the order of the inputs that I want to enter. So I'm going to enter it as H1, comma K1, followed by the next ordered pair, H2, comma K2. So there I close off my inputs, and then I'm going to enter equals and put the calculation I want to be performed. So my calculation is going to involve a solve feature. So I do have to go up to my algebra tab, F2, select solve, and then I type my equation. Y minus K1 is equal to, and start my calculation. Here's the slope calculation, which is the difference of k's, K1 minus K2, that's my rise, the change in y's, divided by my difference of x's, which are now in terms of h's. So I have H1 minus H2. Close the parentheses. And then that's all going to be, and I'll move this over, all going to be times this last part of my point slope. So times x, I'll leave that as a variable, minus, instead of x1, I'm using my h's again. So h1, close it off. Tell the calculator what I want it to solve for. And once I hit enter following this, it should say done. That's the message that it registered. Okay, and so now my function 2 points is located in that same menu under var link. So second subtract. And since it starts with the letter T, I can just hit the T. It goes to the first function I've named with that letter. And so I can pull that up. And so once again, if I come back here and let's say I confirm it with this problem right here. So if I type in 2 points and then I enter my points 0, negative 11, followed by negative 2, 14. Again, remember, it's just a list of coordinates. It's not the individual ordered pairs separated in the parentheses. Okay, and I hit enter. I should get my answer, which I can see right here, negative 25 over 2x minus 11. So it confirms that I entered that correctly. Yep. To the this one. Okay. All right, so there are video captures of this available. You should be able to see them up above the homework already. It'll say something like solving using your ti89, and so it will review this if you didn't quite get this, but you're also welcome to come and ask me. Okay, but the whole idea here is that once you have these in your calculators, you can now solve a problem like this final one that I'm going to walk you through more quickly. Okay. So what I want you to do is see if you can solve this problem right here using the function we just defined on your ti89s. If you've defined it correctly, that's all you'll need to do in order to calculate it. So second subtract, go in and find it. It's under T. So 2 points. List your coordinates, negative 1, 7. Again, this is where you'd have to be able to interpret that function notation gives you an input and a corresponding output. Inputs are x's, outputs are y's. So negative 1, 7, followed by 14 and negative 3. Close it off and hit enter, and I get my equation. When you write it, write the slope first. So we are going to write it with the negative 2/3 x first. And then our y-intercept is 19/3, so plus 19/3. Okay, and that would be your solution.